All right, let's talk about Bayonetta 3. So, first off, like my whole history with the series, I was never like a fan of the games. Like, I've never played any of the games until the third one came out. Um, from what I've seen back in the day, when the first game came out, it was like talked a lot about. It looked really, for for what the game was meant to be. Yeah, it really it hit on all notes, if that's what the saying is. But yeah, it's very flashy, very stylish, very good looking game, I guess. And I knew that the second game came out on the Wii U. I never owned a Wii U, actually. So, but even if I did, I doubt I would have bought it. But the thing about Bayonetta 2, I love the fact that they're like other like costumes, like from other Nintendo characters. That's pretty neat. And yeah, from what I've seen back in the day, yeah, both games look really cool, but never really. I was never really intrigued to learn that much about like anything about it. But when Bayonetta 3 was like had an official release date announced this year, yeah, it was like, oh wow, they actually didn't give up on this. I remember it was like announced back in 2015, I think, at E3. Yeah, and it was like, wow, they really gave up on it. No, it was finally here. The first trailer like starts off looking like an Astral Chain 2 trailer because it shows Lappy, the fucking mascot, and I was like so excited. And then Bayonetta comes through. I was I was like, oh man, no Astral Chain 2, but then I was like, oh wait, Bayonetta 3. I was like happy for Bayonetta fans, but I'm more of an Astral Chain fan. But and yeah, a really great friend of mine like encouraged me to buy the game, and I did just that. I like pre-ordered like a month in advance, and they also told me to like really get myself up to speed with the story and whatnot. Now, from what I've heard from like reviewers and like I'll say YouTubers, I think I've heard that the story was pretty shit. Not gonna lie, like from what they've been saying, like I've seen I've seen this like top 10 like worst stories in video games list, and Bayonetta was on there. I was like, oh, is the story really that bad? So I never really that kind of also discouraged me too. But yeah, I finally like decided to sit down and like at least like watch the cutscenes. I didn't have to like buy the game to be interested. I am like kind of able to buy the first two games. They're on Switch right now. I think so. Yeah, but money's pretty tight at the moment, so I decided to just watch the cutscenes of both one and two. And yeah, all three games like start off very similarly. Like it's sort of the trope of the series where you got Bayonetta in like the most stylish outfit ever, and then like demons like attack her, cut her dress up, and then just is completely naked for a second, but then like her hair literally covers her body, and then just like, oh my god, it's so stylish. This is like a very pretty game. All three of them actually. And yeah, like same goes for three. You start off like on a cruise ship, and you fight these enemies called like homunculi. Like it's funny because they're the connections the very minuscule connections to Astral Chain with this game is kind of shocking because there were some enemies in Astral Chain called homunculi as well. Hmm. I really hope we get a sequel to that, but that's off topic. Um, yeah, like first mission is pretty short. It's just the intro. You got all the classic characters coming back, and after fighting a few enemies, you get to the first boss immediately. It's like a giant kraken, and it was like a really cool. Like my first impression was like, very nice first boss. I like this game already. um, Being the Bayonetta noob that I am, I started the game off on casual. I hope you understand that because I don't play a lot of platinum games. Like the last one was Astral Chain. Yeah, that was like 3 years ago. But and this being my first Bayonetta game, I was still getting used to the controls. But I quickly, like 2 hours in, I got used to it. So it's very like easy to learn certain combos and shit. I still need to figure out like a whole set. I can easily watch some videos and learn myself. But yeah, after the ship, you let's see. You then oh shit, what happens? Come on, man. What's the lore? What's the story? Oh, you meet this. You meet the best character in the game, Viola, and she talks to you about the multiverse. Yeah, there's a multiverse. Oh yeah, there's gonna be spoilers in this video, by the way. So fair warning. As soon as I heard that, I was yeah getting MCU vibes, and I was like, why does that word feel so cringe now? Like I wasn't cringing. It was just odd to hear that, odd to see the direction of the series go that way. But it was still intriguing nonetheless. But yeah, she's like from a different dimension. She comes to this dimension and like warns Bayonetta about the homunculus from like destroying the world and shit. This entity called Singularity, I believe. Yeah. So you go to this island, and there's like all throughout there's like sections where it takes you to like certain parts of the world to gather these like MacGuffins called Chaos Gears. Yeah, and that's basically it. You just go around the island collecting the gears, and then bada bing. But along the way, you get a lot of weapons, a lot of demons to use. The combat is really fun, honestly. Like Platinum, when it comes to Platinum, like they always nail the combat. It's like almost always impressive. Let's see. You first go to this place. Oh my god, I haven't played the game in a few days. I've been kind of sick actually. Like been very weak. Like couldn't play anything for a while. Was just laying in bed all day. But so I'm trying to remember exactly what happens in the story. I'll edit out anything if I stick for too long. The first section of the game, I believe, is Tokyo, and what happens there is that there's this like giant, like homunculus shark flying all over the place, destroying the city, and like, let's see, you got your little pet dinosaur Gamora to like ride along the buildings and shit. Like there are these sections where you ride along, and it's a lot of fun, honestly. And then you meet this like spider demon. Well, you see like another version of Bayonetta, and she can like transform into a spider. It's like, and she has like my favorite weapon in the entire game, these yo-yos. And you play as her for a little bit, and yeah, another section where you're like going through. There's being a platinum game. There's a whole lot of craziness going on. Just destruction everywhere. Like limited time. You're always in a rush. It's a nice feeling. There's never time to catch your breath. It's nice. And then like she like passes on her weapon to the original Bayonetta, and like that version of Bayonetta dies from the homunculus that gets her. This is like a reoccurring theme that happens like every time you meet another version of herself. Once again, the multiverse. Let's see. Oh, and there's this one enemy, like Strider, I believe. Like, yeah, like he's got to be my favorite fight in the entire game. Like, he's really hard, but not so hard that I like rage or anything. He's like the perfect difficulty or whatever. Like, his attacks are just so sudden and unpredictable. Like, you have to really think fast. And the first time you fight him, it's literally like my friend told me this. It's Platinum Studios, like the fucking office. You go inside and fight in there. There's like a fight scene in there. It's so funny. Nice self insert, Sega. Wait, what did I just say? I don't know. I'm gonna edit that out. But yeah, fun fight. And then you turn into like fucking you then control Gamora, and it becomes like a fucking Godzilla versus like Mecha Godzilla fight, and it's super slow, but it's a whole lot of fun too. Like, it's pretty epic. But yeah, that's all of Tokyo, I believe. Oh, and there's this one part where you can see like a Lappy statue. You can beat him up for like halos, which is really nice. I really hope there's going to be like a Lappy skin. That would be nice. That would be really nice. The next area you go to, um, where's the next area you go to? Jesus. Oh, I'm not sure. I remember the name of the area, but it's like it looks like ancient China. I don't know. I'm I could be wrong, but it's like you see all these ancient like warriors and shit, catapults, and the architecture itself too looks very Chinese. I could be wrong again. I don't know, but yeah, you get this train demon, which is pretty funny. I don't use it a lot, but yeah, it's pretty clever, I guess. It's a clever attack. Hmm. Oh, and it's like the first time you play as Viola too. I really like her combat. She's like a new character for like veterans of Bayonetta as well. Um, and yeah, like I thought that like when they meet up again, Bayonetta and Viola, I thought all this time I thought she was just gonna stay like a super edge lord or whatever, and just like but no, she's a fucking clown, dude. And I love that. Like, she's super goofy and very immature as well, but in a good way, in a very good and entertaining way. I like her a lot. Yeah. Um, the next area you go to is Cairo. That's in Egypt, and I really have a soft spot for like desert areas in like modern video games these days. Like, they're really well done. I used to not like them a lot, but they're really well done. Like ever since Breath of the Wild, I've like fallen in love with desert areas, and Egypt is another one to add to the list. Like you play as Viola, but she like gets dehydrated and she like passes out. So she like her her demon of her own, Cheshire. Uh, you play as him for a little bit to find some water, and yeah, his design is pretty weird, but at the same time, he's really cute. I really like Cheshire and using him in combat too. And then at the end of that chapter, you fight Strider again, and it turns out to be Luca, who was from the first two games. And honestly, watching both games cutscenes, Luca was sort of a nothing character to me. He was okay, but like never really stood out. He was just like the goofball, I guess. But they actually did a really good job with his character in this game. I'm really impressed. Like I like Luca a lot more than I ever did now. And like he stabs Viola, and I'm like, oh shit, what the hell do we do now? And then like all of a sudden she transforms into like of a demon herself. And I'm like, okay, let's just spam the Y button. That seems to do everything. Yeah, I literally just spammed the Y button and I won. No regrets. Just spam that shit. Let's see. Afterwards, you play as Bayonetta again. You go into like this temple, and you find like an Egyptian version of Bayonetta, which is like a princess, I think, and an Egyptian version of Jean too. Like, definitely one of my favorite skins in the entire game. And the boss fight at the end, Jesus, it's like it's massive. It kind of looks like Anubis, which is really cool. I've always been a fan of like Anubis in like mythology and whatnot. But you transform into like an alternate version of the spider demon, and like have to like weaken it, and then like go to the core, and you got to switch demons, go upward, like an eagle demon, and then spider demon, eagle demon. Oh my god, it's a really good boss fight, and it's on a time limit too. I'm not a fan usually of time limit boss fights, but this is a really like something about this game is just so exhilarating. I don't really mind the timer. I just it's just such a rush every time. Like I gotta think. This is why I couldn't play the game like when I was sick for a few days because I'm playing on higher difficulties now, and the game's getting a lot more intense. So I had to take a break. I'm gonna play some more today. Don't worry. Um, yeah, I'm feeling a lot better by the way. um, yeah, and once again, like this alternate version of Bayonetta dies, and but her weapon is like passed on to you. So it's like, sensing a theme here, sensing a pattern. Oh, and let's not forget about the Jean sections. Meanwhile, while all this is going on, Jean is like trying to find this guy called Sigurd. Like he's the one that can help stop like singularity and the homunculi. So her sections are kind of like I don't want to say mini games, but like submissions. They're like 2D uh, little 2D games where with like an elevator. I'm not a huge fan, but you know I see what they were going for. I appreciate it for what it is. I just haven't gone back to it. I haven't felt encouraged to do so. But regardless, it's still it's a nice little section for her. You know, at least she's in the game, unlike two. Yeah. So after Egypt, you go to Paris, I believe. Yeah. Um, let's see. Paris is my favorite area in the entire game. The entirety of Paris is fantastic. Where do I begin? You fight Strider for a third time as Viola, and this time he's a lot harder. Like he takes you into one of his attacks. He takes you in like this dimensional space where you can't witch time, so you got to like dodge perfectly. There's an achievement I still have to get, like dodge every attack in that space that he takes you in. It sounds pretty easy, but you know. Then he takes you onto like this roof, and you have the ability to transform into your demon self again. And yeah, I'll admit again, I just cheesed the boss when it gets too hard. Like just fucking spam the Y button for my projectiles because every hit like stuns him and pushes him back. So it's like just noob mode right there. But then Viola says something pretty interesting. Like she almost reveals something about Luca. Like I at first assumed like she said like I'm your and then gets cut off. I assumed she was gonna say girlfriend or something. I was completely wrong. Yeah, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. Let's see. When you play as Bayonetta again, you will come across Bayonetta's mother again, and it's a really fun boss fight. Like she has these like her weapon is really fucking cool. Like it's two giant like fucking barriers for like fists, and like claws come out of it and shit. And like it's like a whole, it's like a fucking. She plays the magic card like fucking magical hats and fucking just instead of hats, it's like a bunch of doors and just spins all over. And you have to fucking figure out which one she's in. I'm not sure like which one. I'm not sure if it's obvious which one she's in because I haven't figured it out yet. But nevertheless, it's still a really fun boss fight. After that, you got this like you got this like 2D side scroller shooter section, and then it turns into like Galaga. It's really nice. I'm a huge fan of those kinds of games. And like the boss fight after that is like a huge clock tower, and that's like one of the demons that you can get after you beat it. It's really cool. It's a really fun demon to use in combat. And you fight like the French version of Bayonetta, who's like a jester, I believe. It's a really cute design. She's got like a mask and blonde hair and like like a clown outfit or whatever. It's cute. I like it. And at the end of the chapter, like she has this frog demon that she transforms into, but it, like turns into like this beautiful lady in a dress and like beautiful opera singer, and it's like a huge like this whole like musical section. It's like you got to like press the corresponding button to like defend yourself against like these bats. I think all while a really cool song plays. It's a really nice section. Like once again, the entirety of France was fantastic. Best area in the game by far. Cairo is a close second. Let's see. We're like close to the end of the game. Like Jean finally finds Sigurd. Looks like Mr. Clean a little bit. At the end of like her final mission is like a motorcycle section, and like at the end of it, like shows credits for her side of the game. I'm guessing like an entirely different group in the devs team like worked on that section, so they wanted like the credit there. I don't know. It's really weird, but quirky. It has a nice background and some nice music too. I hope you can't hear that beeping. That is really inconvenient. whatever. Um, yeah, then you get to this tower, and you put all the chaos gears into place while the homunculus are attacking you. It's like a really cool. It's a really cool cutscene where you're like fighting off the homunculi and placing the chaos gears while Sigurd's doing his thing. And like the final, not the final area, but like this huge, like I don't want to say castle, but like huge structure appears. And then yeah, Jean stays behind, and you fly off, and you fight Strider for a fourth time, and then like you fight like a more powerful version of him right after a really badass cutscene. Like things just escalate so fucking higher and quickly, like in a matter of minutes. I'm sure I'm missing a lot, like a lot of stuff, but I'm just explaining in the best way I can. This is just my thoughts. But yeah, like really great boss fight there. And after that, we head to. Oh, turns out Sigurd is a traitor and stabs Jean. I was like, did they really just kill off Jean? Did they really just kill off Jean? I was almost about to turn off the game. I really loved Jean, and I didn't want to see her die, and I was going to be really disappointed if they did kill her off. But spoilers, no, she's not dead. Thank God. There's the beeping again. Thank you. Let's see. Yeah, it turns out Sigurd's a traitor, and he was like Singularity this entire time, and you're on your way to go fight him. Let's see. Yeah, the whole final mission is like the final boss fight itself. It's really cool. You like you start off like. Hang on a sec. Do you start somewhere before you go to the moon? I might have forgotten. But later on, you go to like in outer space. Oh wait, no. The first fight, you turn into like the fucking Godzilla fight again. Like yeah, Godzilla versus Godzilla fight again, and then he gets like shot up into the moon after like a fucking Kamehameha moment from Bayonetta's like Madama Butterfly demon, and yeah, I don't think it's the moon, but it's just like you're in space now, and yeah, then like a whole bunch of like other the entirety of the Bayonettas show up from like all the fucking multiverses show up to fucking kick his ass. It's a really cool section until like he decides to like kill them all, except for the original. But then Jean comes back to save you and help you out. Then you get shot back down to Earth. You find him again, like his final form, I believe. Definition, yeah. It's a really long boss fight, Jesus. But it's like it's never boring. Honestly, it's super hard and always like exciting to fight. Yeah, then you're like, it's that part of the game where you're like in a super weak state, and like when all hope is lost, like you're about to get killed, and then Viola reveals that Bayonetta is her mother. Huh. I honestly didn't see that coming. I should have picked that up. There were a few hints. I should have picked that up. Yeah, it turns out Luca is the father too. That's why I was like, It was really awkward. My first thoughts of what she meant back then in France, but yeah, that ship has sailed. So let's just not talk about that. But yeah, like Definition is about to like throw a spear at Bayonetta, then it gets like shot, and it's like all of a sudden just turns into fucking Bayonetta No Way Home. You got like three versions of Bayonetta now, like Bayonetta 1, Bayonetta 2, and fucking Bayonetta 3. Like that must be, even for me, like I'm not a huge Bayonetta fan, but that was pretty hype. I even got spoiled on that from a fucking YouTube thumbnail, like just randomly going on YouTube, like the day before the game came out. But even then, it was still pretty hyped to see. I can only imagine what how Bayonetta fans must have felt when they saw that coming. Well, when they saw that. But yeah, you fight as them for a while, and then you all three of them like combine, and then you finish them off with like all three powers combined. It's really cool. And then you got Luca transforming into Strider again to finish him off. And oh my god, it just keeps going and going and going. It just keeps getting better and better. Like it's so fun. The whole climax is so fun. This really was the Bayonetta 3. um, but yeah, let's see. After you beat him, I think like I think Bayonetta and Luca, I think they die actually. I could be wrong, but I need to play the game again. And you know, again, if you haven't played the game, I'm sorry for spoilers, but I did have a warning at the beginning. But yeah, this is a really fantastic game. Honestly, I'm currently playing through harder difficulties. As I said, I'm playing on hard mode, and like I recently realized there's like a fourth difficulty. I'm not ready for that yet. I'm still kind of a beginner at this, but I'm still like receiving a lot of advice from a good friend of mine that recommended the game, and I'm like really grateful to have bought it and played it for like the time I've had. I'm like 30 hours in, I believe. I need to check, but yeah, super fun game. Um, yeah, there's still a whole bunch of collectibles and power ups that I need to still find. 100% of the game is no easy task. And yeah, overall, let's see. What score should I give it? I'll give the game a solid 8 out of 10. I think that's a fair score. I think I do believe that 9 would be a bit too high for my liking, especially since this is my first Bayonetta game. Um, and I think 7 would be a tad low. So I think 8 is like a perfect score that I could give it. I hope like you agree with my opinion. And as for the controversy that's happened, like a little before the game was released, I don't want to talk about it. Okay, I just want to play the damn game. let's yeah, let's just say the original voice actress is not a good person. But I'm very happy with the new voice actress because she's also the same voice as Samus from the Prime games, so that's pretty cool. That's really fucking cool. Yeah. Well, that about wraps it up for my little review or thoughts video. So yeah, pretty good game. Close to being game of the year, but I'll think about it. But it's definitely worth playing, worth buying, and yeah, a really great start to get into like the series. And at the end, where it said Bayonetta will return. Sequel? You can bet I'm gonna buy the fourth game if it ever comes out. No offense. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.